Zell Boy Army, welcome to another spicy one on the channel. Apologies about not getting this uploaded straight away. Aston Villa were playing against Wolves when this card came out, so I was busy watching that game. And if I look a mess, I didn't sleep the best last night, and we had a pro qualifier today. That was lots of fun. But yeah, we are looking at the new Flashback Joe Hart SBC. One of the best keepers in the Prem in his prime, won the Premier League with Man City. Had quite a sharp decline, to be honest, in real life, but was very, very good at his best. Quite an eccentric character, England's number one. And EA added a lot of new cards to the game. And by new cards, I say a lot of players like, there's players like Cavani, Quaresma, Skirtle, Joe Hart, that had signed as free agents for clubs like a few months after the season started. So maybe some of these players, EA, now that they've added them to the game and they've got their in-game licensing, they're going to do different like flashbacks and promo cards around them, which could be interesting. But let's go look at this Joe Hart SBC. So, Joe Hart SBC, 13 days to do. It is an 85 rated squad with one Man City player. Now, at this point of the game, it is quite an inflated price. Simply put, it is too expensive right now to justify doing, in my opinion. Joe Hart is a 91, and the SBC is costing about 160k. How tall's Joe Hart? Let's look at his stats. Obviously, for a keeper, there's only so many stats that you have. There's not that many. 3-star weak foot is pretty nice. A 3-star weak foot is really nice on a keeper because it means he's going to be a lot better at playing out the back. Honestly, one of the stats here that is actually quite crazy that a lot of people aren't going to realise is the speed. 70 speed is outrageous. I think that's actually more speed than Team of the Year Neuer. We'll check. But that's pretty crazy. I don't like the cautious with crosses trait. I'd rather comes for crosses because sometimes they just stay on the line and it ends up costing you. On corners as well, you definitely have to hold triangle to bring them out. So not a big fan of the cautious with crosses trait. 6'5" is a great height. The question is, obviously, chemistry links as well. England have some good centre-backs. Gomez, Walker, Reece James. So he's a strong link to them, but we already have Inform Pope. If Inform Pope didn't exist, then this Joe Hart might be a bit more desirable to link players in. You have to remember as well, if you get this guy, you get him in for the rest of FIFA. If you look that, the diving's a bit low, but the reflexes, positioning, and speed are fantastic for a keeper. But let's actually go look at how much he looks compared to some other keepers. So we'll get him up there. Really had a sharp decline in real life. Like, yeah, he's only 30. He's going to be 34 in a bit. Like a lot of in April, a lot of keepers don't seem to get bad at that by that point. He's been bad for a few years. So yeah, he's obviously not going to be as good as Team of the Year Neuer overall. Neuer has the comes for crosses, rushes out of goal, sweeper keeper stuff, long throw, like Neuer's class. But he's even quicker than Neuer. One less sprint speed, but 3 excel, so he's going to be even quicker off the line than Neuer. And this Neuer, honestly, is insane off the line. He obviously doesn't have the rest of the stats, but you're paying like, I don't know, 500k maybe for Team of the Year Neuer right now. So that is a stat that a lot of people won't realise is quite, I wouldn't say important, but it's quite underrated and very useful, and definitely at times can catch people out. If you rush your keeper out with that speed, compared to a lot of keepers who have 45 to 55 speed, it'll give your opponent 1-2 seconds less, and that can make a big difference on one-on-ones. I would be definitely putting the sweeper keeper trait on Joe Hart. Let's compare him to some other keepers. One of the problems with keepers is a lot of time they have their own animations, and keepers just, you do somewhat have to test them. Keepers are also just keepers, and by that I mean that they'll do some great stuff, they'll do some bad stuff no matter who they are. So compared to Inform Pope, he's got more diving, more handling, more kicking, a lot more reflexes, a lot more positioning, way more speed. But Pope is 6'7". Will he actually play better in game than Pope? Hard to say. Pope does have the saves with feet and comes across his trait, which are pretty nice as well. my gut instinct is even with all these extra stats, he probably won't actually play that much better than Pope, which he might not even play better, I don't know. The 2 inches that Pope has make a difference on this game. 6'7" is crazy. Honestly, this Joe Hart could be special, and I would watch gameplay reviews people do. I don't tend to do the actual SBCs. It's rare I do an SBC because they're coin sinks. I don't want to lose my coins into them. The links are basically the same as well, because there's not a single Spurs player that you're really going to link him in with. Maybe rule breakers, Kane at CDM playing him at centre back, but like, you get what I mean. Like, there's not really any Spurs players that you're going to be bothered about unless Davinson Sanchez gets a pretty good card. I'm going to check Spurs just in case I'm being stupid, but I don't think Spurs have any defenders that I'd be bothered about. I mean, Reguilon, to be fair, if you started him next to him, but yeah, generally stands. Spurs don't have a lot of options as compared to some of the other Prem keepers, because obviously there's a few options that people run. Inform Edison's a pretty popular keeper. Same weak foot. Similar diving, better handling, a lot worse kicking, better reflexes, even quicker, better position. So Joe Hart should be better than that Edison. He's quite a bit taller as well, so I'd probably take that. Lloris's other Spurs counterpart. Worse diving, better handling, a lot better kicking, quite a bit more reflexes, quite a bit more speed. Like, Joe Hart, statistically, is the best Prem keeper now, which you'd have probably laughed if I'd have told you that a few days ago. Alisson, well, we need to actually pick him, don't we? Alisson's had a bad year in real life. Same diving, better handling, worse kicking. What's Alisson's weak foot? Taller than Alisson too. Better reflexes, so miles quicker, similar positioning. Like, there's not a keeper in the Prem that he doesn't stand up against. It's just, does he actually outperform Nick Pope? What I would say is, fodder is very expensive right now. There's rumours of these 2-for-1 packs coming out, and by that I mean where you can get packs for the same amount of FIFA points or coins, but when you buy them, you can then get one for free. If those do come out in the next week, and they're in the code, so I'd imagine they will, then fodder will drop drastically. If you want to do this, Joe Hart, I would honestly be patient and wait for the fodder to drop. Whilst this SBC right now costs 160k, it could genuinely get nearer 100k. I'm not exaggerating. It could get nearer 100k in the next 2 weeks if fodder prices drop. If you really like him, you've got Walker James and want to give him a try out, it can link your team in, and you can do him for free. You could consider him, but all I'd say is he's a keeper. They're not that exciting generally. They don't make that big a difference to your team. He looks good. Will he play great? Hard to say. Keepers are keepers. I wouldn't be personally doing him. I think the SBC is slightly overpriced. If it was an 84 rated team with a team of the week, I think that would be pretty fair. Slightly overpriced, but not ridiculous. That's my thoughts on this card. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you as always. Keep it spicy.